Question, ladies. What are your thoughts on the analogy if one key can open many locks is considered master key, as opposed to a lock that can be opened by any key is a shitty lock?
Come again?
Yeah, so he's saying if one...
What you just saw was what some people call the key analogy. So I'm going to be going through some stuff, specifically responding to the key analogy and as to why I think it fails. Some responses I'm sure you guys probably have heard them in the past, and maybe some of these you probably haven't heard. And yeah, let's get into it. So as you guys have heard, a key that opens many locks is a master key. A lock that opened many keys is a shitty lock. Open by many keys is a shitty lock. All right. So as I understand it, the argument is an argument from analogy, which tries to motivate the idea that men should be allowed to be promiscuous while women should not. I will be providing a complete knockdown response to this analogy. After this video, this analogy will be officially debunked. Without further ado, let's get into it. In our first response, let's ask, is it even true that having a lock that is opened by many keys is a shitty lock? My answer, absolutely not. This just doesn't seem obvious to me at all. Suppose we have 6 roommates, each have an individual room. Each of the individual roommates have a specific key. That specific key, so each of them have a key. That key opens the front door. 6 keys, 1 lock. There are many keys that open this lock. Is the lock now a shitty lock because it's sparsed out by many roommates? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Actually, it seems like what is required for something to be a shitty lock or a shitty key is that the person who is supposed to have the key, in fact, has the key, right? Or the lock, or access to the lock, however you want to put that. This seems to just be, that's the only relevant fact here. But I think if we truly follow the thought, it seems it's not the lock that is shitty, it's actually the key. Consider the following. Which is more likely to wear out, the key or the lock? This leads us to our next consideration. The 2 keys, 1 lock. Yeah, I did that on purpose. So now there's a question here, if multiple keys are a bad thing for a lock. If that's true, why do most locks come with multiple keys? If we actually do in fact follow this, it seems like for every lock, there should be at least 2 keys. Under this assessment, 1 woman should have 2 men. I highly doubt most people are gonna think that's they're not gonna want that at all. So this is all that already alone, I think, already puts the key analogy into issue. The roommate situation. Then why in fact do we have multiple keys that open a single lock? And if we follow that line of reasoning, it seems to apply to that women should have 2 partners. Now, there's another analogy that people have been throwing around on there. It's what people call the pencil analogy. I'm sure many of you guys know it, but I'll say it nonetheless. A sharpener that sharpens many pencils is a great sharpener. A pencil that is sharpened by many pencil sharpeners is a shitty pencil. Now, why? Well, the pencil doesn't sharpen by 1. You need multiple, so you need to keep going and going and going to sharpen the pencil. It seems like the pencil is pretty shitty. Now, in this analogy, the pencil is the guy and the sharpener is the woman. But again, look at the analogy. It seems like for every item in which we insert, the one that will outlast the other is the one that is having the thing inserted. So in this case, the lock. In this case, in the other case, the lock. In this case, the sharpener. I proposed, I don't know if this is a good analogy. I just thought about it. Just curious if you guys think about it. Think if it's good. So a needle that goes in many people is a dangerous needle. A person who takes many needles is a safe person. Now, obviously, the person is the woman in this context. And this is just supposed to be like more cautionary things about being safe when sex. That's kind of like the intention. But the insertion is actually happening from the needle to one person. From each individual, there's a lot of needles. It's safer to just be with a lot of needles. Even though I know this is very counterintuitive. But the point is to say that, like, we can play with these analogies as much as we want. We can come up with as many analogies as much as we want to prove whatever point we want. It doesn't seem to be successful at always. And even if it did, and if it is successful, I think the two responses that I gave earlier with the 6, and that's already with the 6 roommates, that's already enough to completely destroy this. And then we get the pencil sharpener analogy. If we follow the reasoning, then already women should be allowed to have multiple partners, and men should not, because they're the ones who wear out faster or something like that, right? Let's say it's an idea. It's dumb, but don't use this analogy. Let's take this a step further. The key analogy goes from the guy is good, the girl shouldn't. So guy should, girl shouldn't. The pencil analogy goes for girl shouldn't, or girl should, guy shouldn't. That's the idea. But what if we can come up with more analogies that say girl shouldn't, or girl should, guy should, or both of them should be allowed? Now, if that's the case, if we can come up with more analogies, then the pencil analogy and both along that with the lock analogy are just swept out of the water, right? Because there are more analogies where we can come up where it seems both of the cases are good. Think of the following. A sword that fits in many sheaths is a good sword. But a sheath that fits many swords is also a good sheath. You can actually do this form with so many things. I found after thinking about this for a while, you can do it with so many things, and it's insane. You can do it with a phone and a charger. You can do it with a card and a wallet. You can do it with a outlet and a cord. You can do it with cars and garages. You can do it with gloves and hands. You can do it with magazines and guns. So you could do it with a whole bunch of things, a lot more things that I just wrote all those down because I was like, okay, I think that's enough. You could do it with a whole bunch of things where both of them are good on both ends. And now, if that's true, if we can come up with so many analogies where both of them are good on both ends, it seems like we have a solution to the problem. It's just simply word games. It's just a huge word game. So it's just best we just drop this pencil analogy, because just how you can come up with one that is good on your end, I can come up with the reverse, or even sometimes I can come up with way more that where both ends are good. All right, just a thought. What do you guys think? Thanks for watching. Like and follow, and I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.